Hello, I'm Sierra Scott. Welcome to It's All Good. This is a show dedicated to people, places, companies, and organizations that are working hard to make the world a better place to live. Kansas plays host to some pretty amazing people, but none are more well-trained than those who call Topeka home. The 190th Air Refueling Wing of the Air National Guard is one of only a handful who train military personnel to perform mid-air refueling missions. Today on It's All Good, we take you along for this amazing and spectacular ride.
We were here in 1636 before there was a country. When we were paying taxes to the King of England, we had a National Guard in 1636.
The 190th Air Refueling Wing of the Kansas Air National Guard is based in Topeka, Kansas. Besides its state mission, the base has been given a very important federal mission as well.
Which is us providing fuel, passing gas to aircraft and getting them where they need to go, across the ocean, to another country, wherever it is they need to go.
On this day, pilots will be refueling an RC-135.
The RC-135 is a reconnaissance airplane that listens to stuff on the ground and helps do some intelligence gathering. It's an intel gathering platform.
These pilots, as well as the boom operator, are the best of the best of the best. One wrong move could send both planes crashing to the ground.
Draining 2 and 3 out.
Copy that. So are you guys going to proceed up to in the turn to the O'Neill radial, or are we going to break off beforehand?
Today's weather is pretty turbulent, but the mission proceeds despite the bumps. Since they can't always pick when they may have to refuel over the ocean, they have to learn to complete the mission despite any obstacles.
It's flap or 40. I'll do a 40 flap just to keep our speed up.
After about 30 minutes of flight time, we meet up with the RC-135.
Our route of flight today, we're going to take off from here. We're going to fly up to in between Peoria, Illinois and Burlington, Illinois. So kind of northeasterly, and we're going to be at flight level or altitude at 25,000 feet. We're going to rendezvous with RC-135, and we're going to head westbound. It's kind of it kind of goes southwesterly for about 30 minutes or so.
While flying at a speed of 350 miles an hour, these two planes begin pulling closer and closer together.
For the approach check, again, it's going to be VFR overhead. We'll get the gear down right in the brake. 146 on the approach speed, so we'll get the flaps down on schedule. I'll plan on 700 to 900 foot per minute on the descent. Alright, got the beginning air fuel waiting on the nav loop.
The boom on that KC135 we're flying in is only about 35 feet long, so there's not a lot of room for error. While these pilots come closer and closer together, they're also fighting to stay apart. The forces they're encountering are the same forces that bring two ping pong balls together when you put them on a table.
Canceled, so we are going to see if we can get, after the end of the track, a right-hand turn to the O'Neill.
It takes about 10 minutes to refuel a plane this size from start to finish, transferring as much as 6,000 pounds of fuel per minute. But today, these pilots will simulate the refueling procedure 4 or 5 times for practice.
Contact.
Pump and fuel.
They're designed from bladder systems inside the airplane, in the wing and in the belly of the airplane, where on a commercial airplane you'd have luggage. We have fuel underneath that. And that same fuel lines are used to feed the airplanes that we give gas to, as well as what we need.
3-3, we just gave you 2,500. Do you request any more?
If you got it to spare, maybe another 3 or 4.
Once the refueling is complete, the planes pull apart quickly. Before they can attempt a real-life exercise like this one, pilots have to have at least 250 hours of flight time under their belts, and they spend countless hours working on flight simulators. These pilots aren't the only ones who have to perfect their craft. Boom operators do too. Again, there's not much room for error in this job. These planes are so close, you can see the other pilots' faces.
6-1 with 266.
The boom operator uses these controls to move the boom. The pilots are watching the lights on the underside of this plane to get in position.
After we get to the end of the
requested for random AR.
Okay.
And we're going to head back to Forbes, so you might just let them know we got the random approved.
Okay. Clear contact.
It's just as uncomfortable for us as it is back there.
This KC135 that's carrying the fuel weighs about 200,000 pounds today. But when it's carrying a full load, it can weigh as much as 320,000 pounds.
In the Air National Guard, we do 43% of all the air refueling in the world.
The Air Force does 43%, with the reserves picking up the remaining 13%.
Without us, over half of the refueling in the world, and it is required. We can't get a fighter from the coast of this country to anywhere else in the world without refueling. It can't make it across the ocean, any of our fighters. It requires refueling. So without the Guard and Reserve, the world looks quite different in terms of our ability to globally respond to disasters and to emergencies and to conflicts.
To put this into perspective, the force of the National Guard is actually larger than the force of the Marine Corps. There are 89 flying wings in 54 states and territories, with roughly 107,000 personnel.
What that means is the total Air Force population, active duty, Guard, and Reserve, we make up about 20% of that. And with that 20%, we do 34% of the entire Air Force's mission, and we do it for 7% of what it would cost them to do it.
That's because rather than providing grocery stores, daycare facilities, and other amenities on base, these men and women live in the community in which they're based.
Go ahead.
Change my frequency, 123.8.
411, switch it 1231.
The first successful air-to-air refueling took place on June 25th, 1923. And as you can see, it's just gotten better and better.
Voice 1131, Kansas City Center, roger. And descend out of flight level 230, then cross the Jayhawk intersection at maintain 12000.
The 190th Air National Guard brings in $74.5 million to the local economy every year. Coming up next on It's All Good, we'll show you how clowning around turned into a paying job for one Wichita man.